So instead of me introducing everybody tonight, I'm going to let Jason do it on the spot. Jason, go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going out there? So we got the Paranormal Punchers. We've gone through many hours listening to these guys on road trips and going from different lockdowns that we go to and all over the country. And they're great and entertaining, and we just love them. Their banter with each other, and it's just fun. And we really like these guys, and we're just gonna hand it over to them and let them introduce themselves.
Well, thank you. I'll jump in. I really liked your intro. It was pretty cool. I liked the music, and I was like, man, I think we're on the wrong podcast. Because I was like, where's the slapstick? Where's the, because we're not quite that serious, but yeah, be serious enough. I'm Mark. This is my wife, Alicia.
And I'm Nash.
And thank you guys for joining us and keeping us awake sometimes, like he was saying, on the road. Sometimes when we're driving far distances, like all the way to Waverly or Kansas to a temple, then listening to podcasts and stuff late at night is a good way to not crash and burn or fall asleep and whatever else happens after you fall asleep behind the wheel.
Wow. I'm glad we could be there for you.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us on.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys got one more member.
Yeah, Dave.
Yes.
Dave, he's probably in bed.
Yeah.
So he couldn't join us.
Right.
I don't know if for a lot of people watching right now or listening to us, you guys ever listen to these guys? But Mark, you got to start out though, like you always do. Hey guys, I can't do it.
Oh, geez. Hey guys.
Hey Goyles. Hey friends. Kind of sounds like Pennywise, sort of, in a way.
Honestly, I don't know why I do that.
Right.
It's just something to me when it's time to record. I feel like I'm some DJ out of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing at times.
Yeah, I just don't think when we're listening to you guys, it's not right unless it starts out like that. So
That's true. So what? Go ahead. You got a question? Because I got some questions.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, you guys have come a long way since you started. Like, you can tell that by listening to the first episodes to what you guys got going on now, to the difference and how y'all learned and progressed. And it's funny because we were listening to you guys before we started our thing, so it's just kind of you guys paving the way for kind of what we do in a sense. So we just kind of took that as lessons to kind of, it's like, yeah, we're gonna kind of start out a little rocky and everything, but it smooths out and it gets cool and fun and everybody gets used to you guys. And I love when you do the feedback and everything from the fans and everything. It's pretty cool too. But, I just wanted to say that you guys kind of really helped us get going too. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And unfortunately, if you followed our path, it was not so good, but maybe slightly better, and maybe a little better. So maybe you shouldn't have followed our path.
Just start about, what is it, 6 or 7 or 8 episodes in?
I think you were 10.
Was I 10?
Yeah.
I thought I was at like 8 or something like that.
No.
I think it was 10.
Well, start there. That's where it really starts to get good.
That's not true. No. Start at the current episode, and if you like it, then you can work back. And then
that's right.
You'll find the first episode's very charming because by then, hopefully, you like us.
Right.
Yeah. Rosie, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just showcasing some of the comments because some of the people, I feel like some of their comments are directed towards you guys. This is, how are you guys doing today? Nice to meet you all. Ghost. I don't know if they're talking to you guys. Maybe you look like a ghost right now. Is there a ghost behind you that I don't see?
I'm like, uh-oh.
One of us is a ghost. I was going to say, Jason has listened to you guys way more than I have, but just for like anyone, because a couple of people I had told that you guys were going to be on the show, and I don't mean this as like any backhanded comment or anything whatsoever. Like, they were like, who's the Paranormal Punchers? So if, like, just say someone that's watching right now was one of those people, explain kind of like how long you guys have been doing the podcast, or like what inspired y'all and what inspires y'all to do the podcast and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Go for
I'll
it.
keep talking. We started back in 2017.
Yeah.
Like most podcasts, it started at a bar. So I was hanging with Dave. We were having a drink. And he started telling me about the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Yeah.
And he was like really into this. And as we were talking, I was doing another podcast at the time. And I was like, Dave, I had the equipment. Why don't you just tell me the story on a podcast? We'll call it Paranormal Punchers because we already made a short video called Paranormal Punchers. Like, heck, I got the name. I got the domain.
Right.
It's fitting. So then we started talking about weird stuff because I have always been into the paranormal. I was just happy to find my buddy Dave was into it also. And then Alicia came along for the ride. And I think now she probably knows more about the paranormal than we do.
Than anybody, as you can tell by some of our quiz shows,
Yeah.
that we've done in the past, that Alicia is the repository of all the knowledge, cumulative.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly her because there isn't much addition from the rest of us. But
And then we got 10 episodes in. Well, 8 or 9. And I was at the bar again. Shocking. Right. I work in the craft beer business. But not at the time. I just like drinking craft beer. And Alicia and I were talking about planning out some upcoming episodes.
Right.
And this big fella next to me was eavesdropping. And he bumped into our conversation, and that would be Nash.
Mm-hmm.
And we hit it off, and I was like, dude, you just want to come on the show and talk about Bigfoot with us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was it was kind of odd how it kind of all happened quite quickly, but it fit like a glove. We just started talking and realized pretty quick that we have really good chemistry all together. And the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
We just started talking about creepy things, UFOs, cryptids, Bigfoot, and
all the above. Yeah.
All the above, and we're still doing it.
Yeah, and we always wanted to keep it lighthearted rather than be like super scary.
Yeah.
I always had this idea of like maybe it could be like one of those shows, variety shows where we'll talk about a main topic, but maybe we'll have a listener story, listener feedback. Maybe there was a couple times we did skits on the show. So I just want to make people smile.
Yeah. And, it works. I think of the feedback, obviously you guys get and you read about, really tells you all that, but also that, it's cool that you read also the ones from the people that are, knuckleheads that really don't. They're like, oh, they got to say something negative or something.
Right.
It wouldn't be as real though if you didn't throw in the,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
the other comments. It's more real, I think, if you do that.
Exactly.
You kind of want to be like, oh, really? Why don't let me know the name of your podcast? I'll tune in and listen to it and see how great it is.
Right.
There was a funny one that this person, for some reason, was really angry with Alicia.
Yeah.
They said, decent enough show, but the girl is the anchor weighing the show down.
Oh my God.
So when I did the first comic book, I asked the artist, like, hey, in this one scene where Alicia is, can you put like, she's wearing a t-shirt with an anchor?
Yeah.
So we just embraced it. Like, people are going to be that way. But we just thought we'd have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you mentioned that too, is kind of how it's progressed until y'all branch out and those kind of things, just having fun with it. As far as, you're talking about the comic book, and then you talk about like you guys doing an episode just like on D&D or, just what we all do, just kick back and have fun. And it's funny because I have the comic book right here. But,
oh, nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, it's we love supporting people and things that we believe in. So we want to help you guys out and then do the Patreon and all that stuff. So whatever helps. Because we know, like doing what we do, it's very few in between that you get paid or get any kind of thing in return for that kind of work, and how much really goes into it. Because like Rosie and I were just saying, what goes about traveling to different places or whatever, and then doing investigations and equipment, all that stuff. It costs us money, so we're not getting that back. So it's cool that if we can do that to other people and support, what you guys are doing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also cool to have this though, because this keeps you from not just physically having to travel, but you can, travel through the internet, travel through the satellites, and travel to other people's homes, and still get to talk to them, get to know them, and educate them, or enlighten them, or whatever you want to say. Have fun with them without having to go to Ireland or Scotland. Or something
Well,
like
which
that.
wouldn't be bad, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
No,
wouldn't be
that
bad
wouldn't
at
be
all.
bad. I'm just saying it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah,
It's a little bit. I was gonna say too, like y'all said that someone had took a stab or a bad comment about Alicia or whatever, but a lot of people say bad stuff about Velma too, and you wouldn't have like Scooby Doo or the whole gang and the team without her. So some people think Velma's,
At this point, we probably won't have a podcast without her. So
yeah, awesome.
It's funny because they said that the comment was that she was the anchor, but it's like at this point, she's kind of the one holding us together,
which is what an anchor does, kind of.
I'm telling you,
if you got turbulence,
Yeah,
right?
we're like a room full of cats, cats in a room full of rocking chairs, just skittering all over the place, and she's the one keeping us in line.
That's awesome.
You and your old timey sayings.
I've never heard that one.
That was a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
He has more sayings like that than Carter has pills.
There you go. That's it. See, there it is.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that with some of the episodes and the topics. You guys get carried away and start going way off here, and she's trying to bring it back for you guys. Like,
yeah,
I
have to do that too on a show that I'm on Wednesday nights. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do a thing with my finger where I'm just like, wrap it up, guys. We gotta move on.
You can kind of hear because we're all, every one of us is married, and we all have families, and so we know when the queen of the house is like, shut up, let's get back on track, and it's like, yes, dear.
What happens if you don't?
Well,
They'll get looks, that's all.
You get grounded, or you get a bag full of cats.
That's right.
Cast at you, because that would be bad, especially if they have claws.
Yeah, it's cool to have that aspect of it, but it's also cool, like to the listener to just listen. Y'all get crazy and go out there and like, where are they going with this kind of stuff, and then but it is cool to also see that hear that voice of reason to be like, hey, let's get back here.
Yeah.
With,
wrap it up, focus, whatever you got to say. I'm the one that's like, hey, it's time to start the show. Are we going to start the show, you guys? On Wednesday nights, not tonight, but I'm like, are we going to start the show on time? And they're like, nah, we don't care about being on time. And I'm like, are you serious? There's people waiting on you. There's people waiting on us to watch us and hear what we have to say.
Yeah. So I also noticed, like some of your subjects. I noticed that you did the W pass. Back in what was it, 2017? You did that, and then you revisited in 21. Is that right? Like, is it?
Yeah.
Is that one of the most ones that like fascinate you guys about that?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely fascinating, interesting to talk about. But one reason that we thought we wanted to revisit it. Now there was some stuff coming out in the news that some scientists.
Right.
I even think like Disney did a whole thing with their computer models that made the snow in Frozen to try to simulate what could happen with an avalanche. So I was like, oh, people were talking about it. It was our first episode. We only spent 23 minutes on it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should revisit it now that we're a little bit better at podcasting and talking about things. In fact, there's probably a whole bunch of shows we should redo.
Right.
Why not make a whole season or whatever redos?
Right.
Yeah, but it's cool that you tackled that, and then it is a very interesting thing what happened up there. But the subjects you cover just vary so much for all kinds of things in the paranormal world to things that are just kind of theories, as far as like you talk about like the Hat Man, or you talk about like the hollow moon, that kind of thing. That's just how.
They're watching.
Yeah, that space that that everything that it starts from there, the cover to, like I said, something like the Hollow Moon is just so very different. So I'm just curious. I mean, you guys tackle all kinds of things like that. So what's your really kind of your mindset of doing those things?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys have a different reason, but for me, it's because I'm fascinated with all of that, all the strange, the mysterious. I'm fascinated with the paranormal, and we've done investigations, and we watch a lot of programs about it. But hey, I'm also interested in aliens. Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Right.
But even like the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass, I mean, there's things that they're just fascinating to explore and talk about. So I like mixing it up because then I get to learn about more of the weird out there when we mix up the type of things we talk about.
Right.
And I know for Nash, he can speak for himself, but he likes anything to do with military underground facilities doing experiments.
And UFOs. That's right. And it's kind of we each have our what we like and what we want to talk about. So it's just a matter, because there's the four of us, we just can rotate them in from time to time. And that gives a nice variety for everything. And it kind of keeps us fresh. And some of the ones that we've talked about where, we talked about a cryptid and then it can spin off to whatever direction. Or, we were talking about one in the Hoibasiu forest. Where, that's where, I think that was the episode where the pudding skin showed up. Where we started talking about the pudding skin.
What? I think it was
because it was the portal in the very center. But
I tried to kill that, but it didn't work.
But that spun from a ghost and a phenomenon to this whole talk about, we're just where the conversations go to a spiritual side, another dimension, and then that just kind of opened the door for everything. So I just like to see where it goes, but with each of us having our own specific likes and dislikes and what we like to talk about, it always keeps it fresh.
Yeah,
I like that. I think it's good to have everybody to chime in and pick a different kind of subject or topic or whatever. It keeps everything, like you said, like fresh or whatever, and also keeps a lot of different kinds of viewers and a lot of newer, like people that are just now getting into paranormal, even though for the last couple of years it's been, surfaced and pretty more common. I think keeps new people always come in and listening to see what are y'all going to talk about today.
Well, the farther we go, and it's funny because the more we talk about specific subjects, the more we uncover just all kind. There's so much. There's so much. I mean, we were just talking about the other day about doing I think it was you, Alicia, that found a list of haunted locations. And it was like, oh, well, there's one 2 doors down, and there's one right up this. There's one right up the street, and there's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in this world,
Yeah,
it's all intriguing. Yeah,
there it is, and I know because I'm a listener to. But explain to people watching right now what you guys call the pudding skin, because everybody's gonna be like, what the hell are they talking about? So,
it sounds like a gross thing that you leave the pudding out, and you're like, you come back and you're like,
hey, easy. Whoa.
My snack pack is nasty now. No.
Yeah, so I don't know what made me think of it, but I draw.
Because you're always thinking about food.
Yeah.
Okay, so you figured it out. Done.
Had too much sugar in his Kool-Aid. No.
Yeah. So, or something in the Kool-Aid, we were talking about the barrier between our reality and the next, that like a ghost would have to pass through or something like that. And it would be difficult to get through, very similar to the pudding skin when you're trying to get through it to the pudding underneath. You got to push through it, and all of a sudden, then you can get through it. And then once you're through
it's
it,
it's like a perfect visualization.
Right?
I get it. I'm getting it. Yeah, I'm seeing it. It's kind of gross, but it's still like really like effective.
It works though. It works,
Yeah,
So so it stuck.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's definitely stuck, especially when you got all these people putting skin for the win, and it's just then you have some people just tuning in or just finding you guys go, what the hell are they talking about? What is that? But yeah, it makes perfect sense. It really does. I mean, you have to break it down to what you mean by it. But most people in the paranormal world would call it like the veil, obviously. But
right, the veil between the realities, or
Yeah.
I do think
skin, man.
No, Jason. Most people would call it the veil. Just Nash had to call it pudding skin, and I tried to squash that, and he wouldn't let it go. So I asked Rhonda Del Baccio, a psychic medium. She's been on the show a couple of times, and she said, "You know what? That's a pretty good way to look at it." I was like, "You know what? If she approves it, I approve it."
Right.
Then I made a T-shirt for him.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
I think it is because it gets like the point across with a visualization of what it would be like. Because it reminds me of sort of like the Upside Down and Stranger Things, or
right,
like in is it Poltergeist? Yeah, Poltergeist, where they pull, like with the rope or whatever, they pull Carol Ann or whoever out, and they're like covered in like it looks like what you just said.
Yeah, and it really works because it's unique to you guys. So that's pretty cool.
I have a question for you guys that someone posted, and I guess it's for all three of you. Have you guys ever been levitated?
No.
I have not. I'm a pretty big dude. That'd be a pretty substantial amount of force power to be able to do that. So.
No, that'd be cool, but no.
No, I haven't.
That's like The Craft. It reminds me of The Craft.
Okay.
Stay away from witchcraft.
Yeah,
Hey, Paranormal Radio.
we never. But now you guys just don't do like your podcast and everything, but you actually do investigations when you can too, right?
When we can, yes.
Yeah, we've done a few. We, like I'm sure, like everybody, we talk about, we should go here, we should do this, and it doesn't always happen. But we're about an hour and 15 minutes from Gettysburg.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great places in Gettysburg to check out. Even if you just want to go down and hang out for the day and have a beer, the town's great. But we went down to the Jenny Wade house. We were fortunate enough to get a private, like a 2-hour all by ourselves run of the place with a tour guide to tell us all the little details. So that was a really fun investigation. And we were down in the basement where they have like a little display set up with a body and chairs to sit so you can hear the stories. But we got down in there, and all of a sudden the door to the cellar just popped open, huge loud bang, scared everybody. The thing is, it was shut 100% shut completely.
Yeah.
And we ran out. There was nobody out there messing with us, so that started off that being strange. Then you or somebody was getting some air moving by them.
Yeah, I was getting like a draft, and I was like,
it was a basement, but you thought nobody else was feeling it,
right? Yeah.
There was no air circulating at all, but you were still feeling the draft.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And when we were down there, now we were the only ones in here. We had this place to ourselves. You could hear there was like footsteps upstairs, so that everybody was like, but everybody's like, "Did you hear that?" Yes. So there was a couple cool things that happened. Nothing that we captured to gain any proof, but hey, I was there. It was a great time with my friends, experiencing something a couple of things we couldn't explain.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a lot of experiences on either your investigations or your tours that you've done or walkthroughs?
The couple things we mentioned there, we did funk brewing in E-Town. Again, nothing. The biggest one I'd say was, we were knocking like, hey, if you something here, knock back, and we did knocked.
Yeah, we did.
I'm positive no one was in the building again. It was just us because I know people that work there, and I was like, okay, that's pretty creepy. Everybody get the recorder going because we just missed that.
Right.
It always is the good stuff when you're not recording.
Every time.
I thought you guys caught a voice when you were down there too.
Ryan did.
Yeah.
We did it.
Gotcha.
Because he was down there. I think they were recording a podcast in the basement, but about weightlifting, not about the paranormal.
That
But
was-
when he was editing it back together, there was a voice, and I played it on the one at episode 4, but it sounded like something whispered, "Kill." So
Oh, wow.
he ran. It was only him and Norm in the basement. He kept running it back. I'm like, well, that's exactly what it sounds like to me too, dude.
Oh, wow.
They were working out though, or in a gym.
No, they just talk about working out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
they're
it
pod-
reminds me of when I used to go to the gym all the time, and everyone's wearing "killing it" on their shirts or something like "killing it" on their hats and stuff. Or just made me think of that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think when we were down there, the heavy bag was swaying, right?
Yeah,
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Alice and I went in the
Just
one
making-
back room where they had a small brew kit to experiment with, and we were sitting there, and I'm pretty sure it was like, hey, if anybody down here want to hang out and talk to us, here's the recorder. Maybe you can make that bag move. And then we're talking a little bit, like listening. And I was like, it's starting to sway.
Right.
Again, was there a draft in the basement? Was it did we like think so hard about the bag? Maybe it was already moving. One of us
Right,
bumped
right.
into it.
Psychic
And we just did it.
bag moving abilities. I just didn't know it until that night.
If I did, I'd do more than move a punching bag back and forth, I think. I'd be like, get that beer over here.
I think you just have to stay longer and like decipher which of the two options was it. Was it you guys that did it, or
Yeah.
was it like actually intelligent response to what your request was?
Right.
Right.
We could have bumped it and not even known it.
Right.
So, but the funniest thing that happened there is Ryan, he works there, and he was starting to feel some negativity, and he felt like it kind of followed him home. And so the next day he had a just a moment with any entity that might have been listening. He told them it's not cool. You mess with me. You're not cool. Follow me home. F you. Knock it off now. And things had ceased.
Yeah.
Had fun.
Huh.
Like, hey, way to go. You ruined this spot for us.
Right. Scared the ghost away.
Things
Right.
left him like from following him, and they returned, or basically just subsided.
Mhm.
And, the noises and stuff where he was working at night,
Yeah.
stuff like that, just
It just kind of
even the feelings he was getting, it just kind of stopped after he told him he'll find a way to kick their ass.
That's good that it left him alone. That's always good. Sometimes it takes a lot more than that. And so he must have been a pretty scary or serious person when he said it.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Speaking of things like doing that kind of stuff, like following you home and everything, did you have experiences with like the shadow guy or the at your house?
I did. I seem to have a lot of things happen to me.
Yeah.
Now with the Hat Man, I'm sure everybody has heard of the Hat Man, or maybe not, but Rosie, Jason, have you heard of the Hat Man?
Yeah,
I have, yeah, in a lot
mhm.
of different like cases or whatever. I've heard of many different entities, many different shadow figures, many different run-ins, and many different like encounters with the Hat Man. It's like the guy with the tall dark silhouette that has a top hat or something. Is that the one? Yeah,
That's
I've heard of quite a bit of. Yeah.
Yeah. So one night, I woke up, was kind of restless, rolled over, and in the corner, I saw what I can only describe as the Hat Man. Not like a normal shadow. It seemed really dancing. I was like, but it looks like it's wearing a fedora and a cape. So I decided I'm just going to roll over and ignore it. Almost like if it's just a shadow, you're going to keep thinking about it and stay up all night. And I really need to get some rest for work. So again, wasn't comfortable, rolled over to my wife's side, so I can spoon her. And that shadow was now standing beside her. Same shape, same everything. It was not in the corner, it was next to her. And again, I just rolled over and ignored it. I did not say, you can have my wife, don't take me. I didn't know what else to do.
You did roll over though and turn your back on her though, right?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
So hopefully it wasn't like a silent abduction. When you turned
No. Again, I just didn't know. I
Yeah.
felt like it just roll over and just don't. I didn't know what to do. It was
Or kind of like, maybe it's just my imagination and it'll go away if I turn
it
over.
could have been my imagination.
Yeah,
It
right.
just seems so, just so bizarre. And then, of course, when you look stuff up, like people all over the world are seeing this shape. It was crazy. Days later, I got up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and walked out in the hall. And I saw the shadow again. Now, I think, I don't know if I was just really tired, if I was just wicked, not in the mood for it, but I felt like I saw the shadow across on me, and I just said, F off, and I walked in the bathroom, and I haven't seen it. Never happened after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Was it real?
And it
I don't know, but
seems
it seemed very real to me. But I wasn't scared. I just didn't know. I couldn't process it. So I can only think, like, just try to go to sleep, man.
Yeah.
If you can at that point.
If you can, yeah.
I would honestly, like, I'd want to get up and like be like, what do I have that I can put out here so I can prove that this thing is in here? And then I'd probably call Jason and be like, hey, dude, get over here. I don't know if you're at work, but there's something here and we got to catch it. We got to get AVP. We got to get some kind of,
And of course, right on the nightstand is like the perfect recorder, my iPhone.
Right.
Still didn't even dawn on me to pick it up and see like what is
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is crazy about the Hat Man, how it's just, the same figure seen all over the world, and everybody describes sort of the same thing. He might be wearing a different type of hat sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's the same, which is that's really weird how it could be this all these different incidents, but the same entity is just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I'm kicking around the idea of doing a documentary about it, but done the way Paranormal Punchers would do a documentary.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I would even like delve into the like possibility of, is it a thought form thing? Like, who was the first person? What was the first time or the first era that this Hat Man showed up, and like, where did it derive from? Like, did people were there witnesses, or like, I don't know. This is just my brain, and I've got all these different avenues that I go down when I see something or think I see something, and I would wonder if it was a thought form entity too. Like a lot of other ones, it seems like that have been birthed recently.
I actually mentioned this the other day, and I said, what if it's a tulpa, which is a thought form?
Uh-huh.
Like a form of that. And everybody sees it because they know of it. But
yeah.
That is a very good theory. It's just, it's just, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like also, if you don't believe in paranormal, because I saw things when I was younger, and then for a long time I was like, no, that stuff doesn't exist because my mother told me it doesn't, and people will think I'm a weirdo. So for many, many years, I had no experiences until people around me started passing away, and then all of a sudden something happened, and a Pandora box opened, and stuff started happening again, and I just told her, listen, this is really happening. I'm really not crazy. I even went and got checked out, and they said I'm not crazy, so this stuff's really happening. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, you guys know that we run into that in this field. Sometimes people just think you're crazy and just dismiss you. But, if there's such a large collective of people experiencing sort of the same things, it's kind of hard to dismiss it. And especially like when you talk about the UFO aspect of things, is people who describe the same situations that have no idea who each other are. It's just kind of crazy, how those things work, and it's hard to dismiss sometimes that those people are just crazy, but you can obviously tell that there's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When you have a lot of independent people who are just completely not related whatsoever, and they're coming up with the exact same scenario on the exact same night, it's just you can't really discount it. But I know one of the things that I like to do is, of course, I mean, you got to listen to the show, so you kind of dig into it a little bit, and that's, I think you take a scenario and start to theorize why it's there, what happened, and whatnot, and that's what we love doing, And when it comes to like the UFOs and how it can tie into other things, and that's what I love to do. I like that. That's kind of my jam.
It's like a rabbit hole.
It is. It is,
Yeah.
and it goes into conspiracy theory and the government stuff. It goes into all this other stuff, which isn't really paranormal, but I really dig it, and I think it interweaves really nicely into what we talk about. So
that's funny. I was in a room full of sailors this weekend, and they were talking about conspiracy theories and if they're real and if they're not, and how they used to think that they were dumb, and now that they're more popular and more mainstream, now that they think that they're more credible. And I was like, oh my Lord. It was funny. I have a question. I'll just ask it while you're on here, and it had to do with the last subject. Is the Hat Man a shadow person?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess it could be described that way, but it's a very distinct shadow. Like it's a very dapper shadow with his hat and cape. It's just bizarre. But yeah, at least what I saw, can only describe it as a pretty dense shadow with a very distinct hat and cape.
Yeah. I think he's like a form of a shadow person, but I think he's more evil. Like it's more of an evil entity, I think.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, this one wasn't, because he didn't take you.
Right.
Or maybe if she was more evil, or no,
exactly.
or he thought she was.
Yeah, he's probably like, I better not wake her up. Yeah, but it goes into it. I mean, is there different is there different levels to those things? Is there different levels to the shadow people? Is he kind of like their main boss guy? I mean, how's it? It's weird.
Yeah.
Is he like the Mary Poppins of the Grim Reaper?
Right.
I don't know.
These are all questions that I think we have. We just don't have any answers. We have theories, but
boy, it sounds like it could make a comic book out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
or maybe
if in the paranormal, sure, there's all different kinds of levels. Sometimes you get just some voices, but then some people say they get in touch. So is there different levels of entities that have a little bit more power? That's why some people get, feel like they were touched, and some people just get a faint EVP. So maybe the shadow people. I have no clue. Yeah. Don't quote me on any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes also into something like you take the Bigfoot, and then you take UFOs, how that works together. How they always sighted in the same spots a lot of the times. I mean,
right?
Is Bigfoot working for him? Is he an alien? Is he
Yeah. I think one of our shows that I think when we said it, I think because Mark loves Bigfoot. He does. He's got a thirst for knowledge when it comes to it. And there was one specific show where throughout was because how often you see a UFO and then there's a Bigfoot, and how they kind of correlate to one another. And I had said, throughout the podcast, it came to the conclusion. I think it's a very definitive conclusion. It's practically factual. Is that that just tells me that Bigfoot is the sanitation engineer for the aliens. He's picking up all their leftovers. He's cleaning up. He's ready. He's got the thick skin. It's like that's like just one step away from wearing like the orange vest. Yeah. So you don't hit them when they're on the road. The same thing. He's just it blocks the radiation. Keeps them out of sight. He's just picking up the trash, cleaning up the forest. It's got to be factual, is what I say.
Bigfoot is not cleaning up garbage.
He's cleaning the forest.
Protecting the forest. I don't know what he's doing out there.
It's funny because, like, you look at it like, you're talking about Bigfoot. Is he interdimensional? Is like how come we can't never get like a great picture of him? It's always fuzzy. Is that because
he's a Navy SEAL?
Well,
a really hairy one. He got a special beard chit, and he can grow as much hair as he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, is it because he's sort of like like Predator, like Predator in the movie? That's his camouflage? You can't see him, and when you take pictures of him, it just automatically does that. I don't know.
I don't know, but I like what you're thinking.
Yeah,
it is the weird noises too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, what if they were the pilots and he was the ground control, like the Navy SEAL, and they're like the pilots, and they're like, "Hey, yo, down there, ground control, tell us what's going on," and he's looking for something, or that they can't see because he's closer. I don't know.
He's boots on the ground.
Yes, exactly. But hairy boots on the ground. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. It's just, you could talk about different ways why Bigfoot do what they do and aliens do what they do. It is more becoming more mainstream reported lately, which is kind of crazy about the UFO stuff. Like she mentioned the Navy stuff, and the Navy pilots coming out with their videos about chasing them. And stuff.
Like maybe they're mimicking us, or we're mimicking them, and we don't know it. Mm-hmm.
It's just to me it's crazy because it's the government letting out a little bit of what they know, even though that we know they know a lot more. But,
right, and they put out those videos of the Tic Tac that Navy ship was tracking. I thought there you go, everybody, but I feel like nobody really seemed to care.
Yeah, nobody talked about it, and I was like, what is going on? Why is everybody so quiet about this? But
I'm the same way. It's like they just say, okay, we'll put it out there. Then everybody's just like, okay, no big deal.
Yeah, everybody's on their phone playing whatever game. It doesn't matter.
It's always, the big ship's got to land on the White House lawn and all that stuff for people to freak out. But it's like the information and the videos and everything that's already out there is crazy. And it's, it's like, here they are. And they're, like you said, everybody's just going about their day. Like, we already knew that. No big deal.
My buddy he was out at his house, hanging out, chilling, having a beer, just enjoying the day. Something in the sky caught his attention, and he was watching. Now, he didn't get any photos, but when he was describing this thing to me, and he's like, Mark, look, I swear, I'm telling you the truth. I was like, hey, man, I believe you right out of the gate because, I believe. He described this thing as like, hey, man, that sounds kind of like the Tic Tac. He was like, what? So I sent him the videos. He's like, man, that kind of seems like what I saw, but it was like a Tic Tac or cigar shaped item. And again, I was like, how comes I never see this stuff?
Yeah.
And that was in Harrisburg. So that was only like an hour. No, that was only like 20 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And still,
Wow.
Guess maybe I was too busy looking at my phone and not the sky.
That's what I was going to say. It could have to do with everyone having to be inside because we were ordered to go inside and everyone having tech neck, to just sit there and stare at their phones all the time. And it wouldn't be surprising that some could go right over you and you wouldn't see it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far do y'all live from the triangle, what they call? Forgot what they actually call it up there.
The Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Massachusetts, what?
It's like 6.5 hours, maybe 6, somewhere in there.
Which isn't far, really. I mean, but getting there is the trick.
Yeah.
It's, depending on which way you're trying to route through New York to get up to Mass, it could just be a real awful time with traffic.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. There was some people on our show, and it was a husband and his kids, and they went there. I saw them post a video there after we talked to them.
This comment from Adam. Adam, boy, that sounds 100% believable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right on board with you, Adam. Totally.
I never thought about it from that angle, but I like that concept a lot.
Yeah, me and him talk about stuff like that all the time. Sometimes he comes on our show, like if our guest doesn't show up, he's like our backup guy. Adam is, and he's like, "Hey, if your guest doesn't come on, beam me up," and he'll get on the show.
Yeah, I know, 6 hours or 6.5 hours, like you were saying, from there. That's it's close enough for you guys to hear all the stories about everything that goes on there. Right? I mean, from UFOs to cryptids or whatever, it all seems to happen in that location for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, I still can't believe we haven't planned a trip.
I know. We've been to Mass, but we haven't been there specifically. So,
Well, and there's a lot very close that we could get to, like just driving through West Virginia. West Virginia,
West Virginia.
Just West Virginia is enough.
Yeah. I just want to be in the state just a little bit for like 5 minutes and then turn around. But there's so much that's around here, and we just need to go do it. That's the hard part, is we always have the plans to do it, and things are real. They're not super close, but they're close enough. And we find that we get just as much enjoyment from talking about it. And when we go,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome. You
I
know,
know.
but
I feel like we did have some plans that like we were working towards, and then COVID happened. So
right.
Yeah,
so we just
everybody
kind of,
did.
yeah, we just kind of were like, well, we'll just keep doing what we're doing and go
Now,
with that.
did you guys go down to Savannah? Was that?
Oh man.
COVID changed that trip.
Yeah.
Yes, we were supposed to go to Savannah for a wedding. I was like, hey, while we're down here, we're staying extra days.
Right.
And we even had like there was that one, was it the Blue Moon Brewery? We had a list of places to visit, and then that dream got shattered.
I know.
But one day we'll get back there.
I know.
Or not back there. One day we will go.
We will go there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about Georgia, right?
Yeah, Savannah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I went there not long ago. I was like, unless there's a Savannah, Pennsylvania, I've never heard of it.
Now this
Yeah,
wedding.
Georgia's awesome. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, we were
It's
supposed to
just
go
eerie.
in March of 2020. So
Yeah.
Right when it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was September 2020, and then he postponed it to March 2021. And I feel like we both were just like, I don't know if we should go be around a bunch of people. And, we're not there yet. So.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
actually
for
went
sure.
there not long ago to a G.I. Joe convention. There were a lot of people there in
Yeah.
Georgia at that convention. Debbie
But
said,
I'm-
I'm from Savannah.
awesome.
Hey,
It's
Debbie.
crazy.
But,
Welcome.
Beautiful area. It's
I know,
rich
like,
in paranormal.
yeah, they say like anywhere you basically just walk down the street, or there's something,
Right.
because of the history, and obviously the war and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very.
I mean, we're also what, hour 45, 2 hours from Philadelphia, and we still have not been to the Eastern State Penitentiary. So
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's again on our list. I don't know what's keeping us from going there. I guess
I
time.
don't know. We're busy, I guess, but
Yeah.
not that busy. Like we're like, oh, we're too busy this weekend. We'll do it next week.
We
Know.
procrastinate.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to sit around and meditate too much and pick my teeth and think about going. No. Yeah.
So, just want to talk about some of the stuff you guys have talked about before. But like, what is your opinion after doing the show on like Aleister Crowley and all that? And like, do you
Yeah.
think about
I like that one.
I feel like there is so much to delve into him,
Mhm.
and we barely touched the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the Boleskine House episode.
Yeah.
So we were talking, I think, more about all the weird things that happened
At
in this
that house.
And Aleister Crowley was just a part of it.
Yeah.
And also Aleister Crowley having a sex cult thing. We probably went pretty comedic route with our discussion. So honestly, I can't remember some of the details that we discussed. But
Yeah.
it's been on our list
Mhm.
as a main topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's happened a couple of times where we've had a subject where it's like, hold on, there's a massive amount that we could talk about.
Mhm.
And to try to get that into a podcast, into our
Yeah.
time limit. So a lot of times we'll just kind of like, that's where like the Diet Loft Pass came in, where there was so much more that we could literally revisit any one of those subjects and just spend one or even two more episodes talking about it.
Right.
And with as much actual information that we cover, maybe it's more like 3 or 4 episodes, because we a little bit more than just information that we talk about.
Now, that just you talk about his house for a second. Didn't it burn down, or didn't it? There was something like that. His house burned down, right?
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah,
was
but
it accidental or purpose?
I can't remember. I do remember with the Aleister Crowley, he was summoning the 7 dukes. and
Yeah, because the
7
location that it was actually placed upon, I
Right.
think that was why it was not annihilated, but the home was like destroyed or whatever.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I feel, if correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but so he did this ceremony to summon the 7 dukes of hell,
Mhm.
Right.
and never quite finished it or did it right. So some people say because the Loch Ness is right by where the house stood, that possibly maybe Nessie is one of the 7 Dukes of Hell because he botched it and never sent him back. So that's
I've read that somewhere before too.
Yeah, it's interesting because of the location, obviously, and then you have you have Nessie right there that everybody's trying to find, and then just the guy himself was, like you said, is very, very strange, and you could talk about all kinds of stuff he was in forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know, like, the one there, like, famous musicians that bought that house at one point or something like that, or do y'all know?
Yeah, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Okay. I knew it. I just didn't remember who it was.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame Nessie at all. I mean, if you think about it, if Nessie is one of the 7 Dukes of Hell, you get summoned through this portal. Hell is not a great place to be. And all of a sudden you're summoned and you literally have a giant swimming pool and you can spend the rest of your days
And lots
around.
of endless fish.
Yeah,
People.
getting sun, checking out people, just kind of cruising around the lake, messing with people. Hey, man, that's a pretty good life. I'm just saying. If I was a Duke of Hell, I'd be like, I'm going to give my 2-week notice because this is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm.
I would.
Right. It's kind of crazy, like how you could fit all that together. So
yes, it is very crazy.
So you guys remember talking about the Kay's Cross? You remember talking about that?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's in Kentucky, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that's why she knows the stuff. That's
Why trivia
I always get
every
that.
time.
No, it was Kentucky or Utah. I don't remember. It's one of those.
Isn't it Utah?
Is it Utah? I thought it was Kentucky.
Well, I mean, to the Google.
I don't have my.
Yeah, I think it's Utah.
No.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would just say West Virginia.
What is the Cage Cross? I didn't hear that one.
That is Utah, but there's this cross that
Maybe it was Utah. I'm sorry.
and
Kentucky sounds cooler, though. I'm just saying.
I'm going to botch this story, so there's probably little facts in this because it's been about 25, 30, 40 episodes since we did it. Nash, jump in when I'm going the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that owned this property, I don't know if his name was Kay, but he had built this cross. He had like a cult thing going on back there. He built this cross. One night, the town heard like this massive explosion, like someone set off some type of bomb. So the next day, when they came to see what was going on, this cross was in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But to this day, the cross still, people, say it's warm, almost could burn to the touch at times. A lot of paranormal activity right in that specific area. What else?
Wasn't there some dude buried underneath the cross?
Yeah, there's rumors that a Mormon father, or not father, but a dad, he was buried there with his wife that he killed, or maybe he had 7 wives and he killed them all, right? I can't remember.
Something like that. And there was a really not very good person buried underneath it.
Buried underneath it, but
yeah.
I think that was more of a rumor, but
that's pretty cool.
I Googled it in Wikipedia. It's, if that even makes sense, but like it says Kaysville, Utah. It's named the Kays Cross because it's in Kaysville, Utah. It was demolished with explosives by unknown persons in 1992. There's still like a big, huge, though, like massive stone like stump there, though. Like almost looks like a tomb or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rosie did a way better job than we did.
I know.
I'm the nerd. I'm the Vilma. But it does say that there are multiple different urban legends that are tied to that site.
And actually, one of listeners on our show has been there several times, and they said they got some really interesting evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. that sounds like a place I'd like to visit. Check
Next
out.
time
too.
we go to Utah.
Yeah, and that just kind of segues on to Utah to Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, I know you guys live there.
Yeah.
I know you covered it, but it's got so much going on there. I don't know.
If you ever find yourself living in Skinwalker Ranch, move. Just move. It's a good place to visit, hang out. I wouldn't stay the night, but just go.
Yeah, you got a place with where people claim that they've spotted UFOs, Bigfoot. They had that giant wolf that came out,
right?
Grabbed that baby calf by the head, like this giant dire wolf type thing. This place has
there's a lot
like I don't want to say hot spot, but it's like a pretty unique mixed bag of all the weird. Like if we were going to build a headquarters to talk about everything weird, this is where we would build it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to be
or their Bermuda Triangle, but it'd be like, how are you going to build a triangle inside the water? I guess you could.
Or in Montauk.
Or over it.
And I think they have a
Montauk.
whole show about it on Discovery Channel.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. It's I agree. I would love to go there and just check it out, but it's got so much stuff. It's just, and they're all, I don't want to say they're not related, but it's every category is there. Every category of weirdness is in Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Except the one got the people that bought the ranch for a little bit. He came home and all his cattle that was in one of the buildings or one of the fields, they were somehow inside the back of the trailer. Yeah, and he had no idea how they even got there. So there was just a bunch of just strange, even like maybe aliens were just messing with them. It was just a very bizarre things that kept happening to this family.
Wasn't that the place where they had locks on?
Yeah.
The outside of the house?
No, it was on the inside.
Was it on the, well, I mean, everybody has a lock on the inside.
Because it was keeping stuff. Was it keeping stuff in the house or was it keeping stuff?
I can't remember, but it was weird.
Yeah, so they like padlocked themselves in or something like that.
Right.
So.
And there's two gigantic chains nailed to the front, out front, almost like, what are these chains keeping on a leash here?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's big dire wolves. And that was another story that like this gigantic wolf, when they were moving in, unloading their truck, this giant wolf just comes up. Now, again, I'll stand by the fact that maybe you should start panicking. They kind of just watched it like, oh, hey, look, a wolf. But it was huge, massive. And it wasn't until it latched on to a cow like right near them that they're like, oh, maybe we should get a gun out. They shot this thing several times, point blank. It just shook it off, looked at him, and eventually gave up on the cattle and just walked off. I'm like, sounds like a massive, massive creature.
Yeah. I know when I heard about that story, I know they shot him. I thought they shot him with like different types of a couple different guns, and it didn't do nothing.
I think they did.
Yeah, and he just kind of like,
it's Michael Myers. Suck the Michael Myers of wolves. His eyes were black and evil.
Yeah. So of all your shows and everything you guys have done, what's probably been the one that stands out to you, or your favorite subject, anyways? I guess.
You, Alicia?
Or each of y'all, if you have an individual favorite.
Well, personally, I really enjoy talking about all the cryptids and all the weird stuff. Like even if it's not Bigfoot, but like some of the werewolves, some of the frogmen. Like there's a lot of weird stuff, and I love talking about it and researching and looking it up. But
yeah, I mean, obviously, I like every time we talk about cryptids or Bigfoot, they're fun. Because there's that one story that, it was like 1962. These people had pulled off the side of the road in like a Volkswagen Bug. And out of nowhere, Bigfoot comes up and punches the one kid in the face and then runs off. So I'm just like, yes, that's
right.
I want to talk about this.
I've never heard that, but that's
Is that where you got the idea for the show, the Punchers part?
No. That came from we did a short film. I shouldn't use the word film. Did a short video called Ghost Punchers. It was for a 48-hour film challenge. So we had 24 hours to write, direct, edit this thing together with 5 items they gave us at the very beginning of the go. And I, being into ghost adventures, being into the paranormal, I was like, hey, we should do a kind of a show, kind of not spoofing, because again, even our show, we have fun with the topics we don't make fun of.
Right.
So we did that, and then we made episode 2, Ghost Punchers. And then I wanted to expand on what the Ghost Punchers come up against. And I was like, well, then we'll make it paranormal. That way we can go fight Bigfoot. We can go fight aliens. We can go fight whatever. So then the next video was Paranormal Punchers, and the team went up against Bigfoot.
That's pretty awesome.
cool.
And nobody was hurt. Bigfoot. It ended up kind of ending a little bit like Harry and Henderson's. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, what would you say, Nash, is your favorite?
I mean, I dig on the government conspiracy, alien tie-in stuff. I love it. I love it. When we did the what was it? It was the Montauk. It was the one in
Camp Hero.
Montauk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really cool. There was mind control, government, aliens. Oh, I loved it. I love it. And being able to link that stuff together. Oh man, that's the funnest thing for me. Mm-hmm.
So, we talked about different paranormal aspects of things. So, what would you say that your opinion on the base under Denver Airport?
The base under which airport? What?
The Denver Airport.
Now I've been to the Denver Airport.
Yeah, there's some secret alien base under the Denver Airport.
What?
That would be pretty awesome. That's a great location for it. I mean, that airport's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, what's out there? Just the theories and everything everybody talks about.
Well, they already have.
That just made the
I know
topic
it's on the list.
And they already have a full. That airport already has a full network of underground subway and railway, all specific to the airport.
I was gonna say, what about like a railway?
Yeah,
I think I've heard a story about it being like they talked about it being a railway.
It's already there. I've been on the trains. There, it's a great time if you're going to go take a flight in and out of Denver Airport. But and it's probably one of the coolest airports I've ever been in. But I could totally see that being that airport facilitating all kinds of just getting out into the world. Oh, 100%. There's nothing out there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, like the stuff you run across when you're looking into it, and then like there's supposedly like artwork throughout the airport that depicts like the end of the world and all that.
It's a really cool airport. Yeah, I fully understand all of that, and the art there is just fantastic. It's just some of it's kind of whacked out, but hey, that's okay. It's Denver.
Yeah, Denver.
Should visit more airports, Jason.
Yeah, and
there are some really weird ones out there.
That would make a lot of sense because that airport is, oh my gosh, that airport is probably an hour, maybe 2 hours from NORAD.
Yeah,
they're right there. So I mean, and they're super close. Yeah, that's right. So do I. Good call, Adam. Yeah, I mean, I could see them being connected any day of the week. I mean, that's what, when we're talking about Dolce Base, that's what that episode kind of spurred the whole underground network just across the nation. And NORAD being right there and the Denver airport. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys have covered that and talked about the underground base, what you just said, and then like maybe expanding like there's an underground super railway that goes from like Area 51 to there. It's that's pretty crazy to think about. Like you got this rail system underground that could go 1,000 miles an hour or however fast they say, but I mean, it's just kind of crazy to think about. We have that kind of stuff, and we don't,
you don't even see it. You don't even see it. You don't even think about it. And then you come across it and you're like, hold on for a second. There's an underground base there? What? I had no idea. Most people didn't even know that NORAD existed until the Terminator movie came out, and they actually had to, go into the side of the mountain to be able to escape the Terminator.
Yeah, I mean it's insane. It's a place that you have a lot of depictions in movies for. You're taking our Joint Chiefs of Staff or whoever there if something really goes down in the country. I guess even the president could go there. I guess, but who knows? But the underground base theories and all that stuff is really interesting.
I definitely suggest taking a look and doing a search for just pick a state and type in underground bases in that state and see what comes up, and you'll be like, oh my god, there's so much here.
So you go back to like the paranormal aspects of things, is that I know you guys have done shows and covered the Ouija board and stuff. What is y'all's thoughts on that?
Here we go. This is a good one. Yeah.
I feel like it's something I do not want to mess with ever, and I never have. So,
I mean, you can read a lot. You can hear a lot of different opinions. I feel like even talking to Rhonda Delbachu, she's a psychic medium that's been on the show, and I usually trust her. She said, "Yeah, don't leave that alone." So I'm not going to mess with it, even if you call it superstition. But I did have a friend who he was messing with it. In fact, he, for some reason, thought him and his daughter would do it. And
oh, good God.
Yeah, they started, doing whatever. And he did say, I think he said that something came up. They had to stop playing and run and, pick up dinner or whatever. And I was like, bro, did not close the board? He's like, yeah, no, we just got up. So after that incident, then he started having strange things happen around the house. Like he'd hear a little kid running, open the door. It wouldn't be his daughter's. No one's there. He said he was in the bathroom taking a poop, and he could hear someone giggling on the outside of the door. And he's like, "Hey, whatever his daughter's name is. Hey, I'll be right out. Let me have some peace." He goes out. Nobody's in the house. He texts his wife. I was like, "What are you talking about? We left 30 minutes ago to go to Walmart." And he's like, "Okay, I'm freaked out now." And he actually he reached out to me. I was like, "Dude, I don't know what to tell you, but maybe here's Rhonda's email. Reach out." Rhonda gave him a whole bunch of stuff he needs to do, and he did follow everything she said. And he says everything's been cool since. So just that story, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. For real. Now, when y'all talked about it, did y'all cover the Zozo? I don't remember if y'all did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I wasn't sure y'all hit that. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty interesting entity everybody comes in contact with. They say anyway.
Right. It's weird that it is trying to come through the Ouija board. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it wants to communicate with us and get into this world.
Right. Yeah, I know that they did a Ghost Adventure show on that, and I believe that it actually happened. Like the show they were doing it on happened in Oklahoma. I believe it's Oklahoma City. So that obviously anything that comes out of our state, we're like, yeah, that's cool. We want to know about that. But as far as the subject matter, like you said, the Ouija boards and stuff, just stay away. The same opinion I have on it, and I'm sure Rosie's the same way. But
it's odd that you said that though, because incidences that last occurred that I know of in my family that actually led to suicide occurred in Oklahoma City with the Ouija board.
Oh wow!
Yeah, remember my cousin I told you about?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a question.
Yeah.
Mark and Alicia, what kind of picture is that on the wall behind you?
That is, and you really can't tell, but it's every comic book character.
Is it just Marvel?
Yeah, it might just be Marvel. All of them.
No.
Very tiny versions of them. He's a
Yeah,
big comic book nut.
It's if you were closer, you could see it. But yeah, so all the comic characters just in a Avengers Assemble mode coming out at you.
Adam's a huge comic book nut. Me too.
Yeah. Oh,
Good eye, Adam. Good eye.
And I think it's both Marvel and DC. So
Awesome.
Okay.
That's pretty cool that they combine them all.
Oh.
Yeah, like just to touch on that and then not be, super emotional about it. I have a cousin that passed away and committed suicide, and I did not find this out, the Ouija board part, until a couple months ago, that he had been playing the Ouija board avidly, like obsessively, every day, every night, and doing other weird, strange, scary things like tearing up Bibles. And that was never something that he ever did before, ever in our lives. I was very, very close to him. He was like a brother to me. So to know all that stuff, and he lived in Oklahoma City, and his name was Jason. So like to know all that stuff after the fact, I had just known something was off, but to know all that stuff after the fact makes it even like more kind of serious, I guess.
yeah.
The thought about messing with Ouija boards and the fact that he was doing that like obsessively and then tearing up Bibles and then ended up committing suicide. Yeah. Just a disclaimer to anybody, if you're thinking about a Ouija board,
just
ask a lot of questions and do a lot of research because they're not a toy.
Yeah, no, for real. It's like I have one, but I mean, I don't have one to use. Like I have one to, like when we go to the paranormal conventions or these paracons and everything, I usually put it on the table just for show. But other than that, yeah, it's like I don't use it or anything. And I think like what Rosie just said, if anybody's looking into that, make sure you do your research.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's kind of cool when you see them in like a museum or whatever, or like some kind of containment glass thing, and it's an old homemade spirit board. Those are really neat, and I think they're really cool. I just think that anything that you mess with like that, you need to be very respectful and like kind of do some research before you just, because I've had stuff like you said happen to your friend. Stuff like that has happened to me at my own home while I'm there by myself and there's no one there, and I thought someone was there. Just crazy stuff. And I wasn't even playing with the Ouija board. So it's creepy. Some stuff can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real. Now, pivoting on that and everything, what I know you guys have opinions on the hollow earth theory. Just like where does that go for you guys? I know you've covered it, but
well, and it's funny because Dave's not here, and he's
Dave's not here.
Yeah, he's not here. He's our unofficial expert on the hollow earth and what lies therein. So
if you were Dave, what would Dave say?
He would say, "I can't tell you about it."
Yeah, he'd say, you can't tell you. He'd tell you, but he'd have to kill you. That's one of those things. It's classified.
So, yeah, Dave had a, I would say habit of missing some episodes. So we just started saying, after, hey friends, welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark. I'm Alicia. I'm Nash. And we'd be like, no, Dave. He had to fix the servers in the hollow earth. Yeah. So just every kind of thing we said to explain, rather than to explain like, he's got to coach his kids softball today. But yeah, I mean, we did an episode in the hollow earth and it was extremely fun because it gives you everything to go just really crazy and discuss, with aliens, dinosaurs down there.
Right.
There's AI down there.
Vikings down there. I mean, the stories are there's Nazis down there. So the stories go. So for me, it was just something like extremely just fun to talk about. And it really is like something you'd think you'd want to see in some outlandish, crazy movie.
Which we have, right?
Right. There is a movie,
The Iron
Sky. And then they did one, they went into the hollow earth. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do I believe it's real? Well, that one. Well, I would like to think that something like that exists, but I'm not so sure. I'll still entertain the idea,
Mm-hmm.
but it's.
I mean, and according to the recent documentary, Kong versus Zilla, I'm just saying it's all factual. There is a hollow earth down there, so yeah.
It's a great
Sounds
example how
kinda
to
like
use that term.
Mordor. Like Mordor.
It's
In
right.
Lord of the Rings, it kind of sounds like that.
It's some pretty outlandish things, but it
Mhm.
certainly makes for great conversations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because they can just you can go anywhere with it, and you won't be wrong, Now with the hollow earth, there's also the hollow moon. So I mean, like a lot of people think the moon is hollow.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I know Nash does.
That's right. They're up there. They're watching.
Yeah, like
Adam
Adam just
said
said.
the moon is an alien
Yeah,
base.
Adam, you're right on the money, boss. I got to tell you, you're right there. You're feeling it.
Yeah, we did an episode on the Hollow Moon, didn't we?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was on the. Was it on the Hollow Moon or was it? And then we did the Black Knight satellite, and that
Yeah.
also kind of tied into the whole thing.
No,
Sorta.
you tied it in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the presented facts tied it in.
Now, I don't know about the moon being hollow, but I could consider there being a base on the dark side of the moon. I can see that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And a great
Yeah,
album.
it couldn't
too.
be hollow because of its gravitational pull. It can't be hollow inside. I'm just saying, I'm being a nerd for a second. I study the moon a lot. I'm kind of like obsessed with it.
Wasn't one of the theories that the moon's generating some type of gravity well to, take care of the way, so it's still fake. It just has a generator.
Mhm.
Unless there was someone inside of it, or something inside of it, like not completely hollow, that was doing all that stuff.
Even
That
the
makes
hollow
sense,
earth had
maybe.
some type of gravity. Yeah. There's always, they think of things to how to explain how this is possible.
Yeah. I do think there can be AI anywhere, though, whether it's hollow or not. They can
Mhm.
find a way to get an artificial intelligence anywhere.
Even if the moon wasn't hollow and it was an alien base, it could just be like the Death Star.
Yeah.
Technology. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. The Death Star. Everyone knows that one.
Maybe that's not a great idea since you know what it did to Alderaan.
Oh, yeah. It's what is it? Self-imploded or no? Is that called? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
I don't know. It's blown up. That's all you need.
Yeah,
It's
it blowed up.
destructed.
So, what was your opinions on the black-eyed kids? That's a really kind of
I
a
was
big,
going to ask that a while ago.
interesting subject with a lot of people. And it seems like I'm hearing a little more stories about them lately. So.
They're creepy. And I don't want to meet them, but
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. It's kind of like the Ouija board. It's kind of like you see it over there and you're like, oh, hey, it's over there. I'm going to go this way then. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. Since you're over there, I'm going to go the other direction. Have a good day. I'll see you later.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, any of the stories that we found about
Yeah.
it's weird. Like right away, one of the things that stands out is they always ask,
Can we come in?
Can we come in?
Yeah.
Almost
Or
like
can you give me a ride?
that vampire
Yeah.
lore where they can't come into your house unless you're
Yeah.
invited. Like that's
Right.
bizarre. But we were just talking to John Olson. He wrote a book, but he had a story from somebody out west that she was having a fight with her boyfriend, and she left. She went out, got in her car, and she was crying a little bit, trying to compose herself, thinking about what am I going to do next? And there was a kid outside her car, and they're like, "Hey, hi, can you let me in?" She's like, "No," and they're like, "Come on, hey, can you let us in, Megan?" And she
Yeah.
was like, "What? How would they know my name?"
Right.
And another black-eyed kid came up, stood next to this other one, like, "Hey, if you let us in, we can help things with Gil go away."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What?" So she was freaking out.
Yeah.
But they just stood on the side of the car and just kept asking, "If you let us in, we can take care of him. If you let us in, we'll help you out." And she finally, put that sucker in drive and got out of there.
Right.
Well,
So, yeah,
that's creepy.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Are you stalking my boyfriend? What's going on here?"
I think in the story, she was like, "How would they know my name? How would
Know
they
about
know
him? Yeah.
my boyfriend's name? How would they know she was
They was
just
having
so
issues.
frightened
Yeah.
by the encounter.
I wonder if they're relevant to the men in black that come and track you down and threaten you to not,
I don't
leak
know. I mean, what if they're aliens?
information.
Yeah.
We had that theory. I think we were talking about that, Nash, where what if it is aliens and they're trying to do their very best to look like a human so they can intermingle, but they're just not getting it quite right.
They're getting close.
A
But
little off. Yeah.
So it's freaking people out when they say it. And maybe they just think they're being polite. Hey, can I come in? That's the right thing to do, right? But they just haven't quite nailed the human look. So they're just, but they also give off, some people feel like sick around them. Like someone's giving off like a radiation.
Yeah. Like an energy vampire type of thing, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't want
I've
to
heard
meet
stuff
him.
about that. It kind
I
of
don't-
like, actually, though, I've heard theories about like aliens actually not taking over our universe because they actually have to have some kind of permission or pardon to enter our atmosphere, like dating back to different incidences or meetings with presidents and stuff like that. I've heard
Huh.
different
permit.
theories about
like
that. Yeah.
I feel like they could just do whatever they want and they take us over. And,
Well, that's just it. They're already here. We just don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So-
right. Yeah. You guys always do the listener stories, and they give you all stuff like that to read. And I'm just curious if all the ones that you've done, is there any that stand out the most to you that you really just, I don't know, resonate with a lot?
You guys, I mean, I have a couple.
yeah, I mean, there was one that I think it was Will, who maybe I don't remember who sent it. It could have been Will. There was they had a barn outside, and it would go to the barn, and he would see like his father who had passed away in the barn. It was so long ago that it's still stuck in my head that it was like he was having an experience with a deceased relative, and it was right outside, and like they would go for a ride, and maybe it was in a pickup truck, and then the dad would still be in the pickup truck that's parked in the barn or something like that.
Mm.
I don't
That'd
know.
be kind of off, like weird if you're driving and they're going with you.
I feel like the one that really touched me, because I was actually reading it on air. This girl, she had a dog that she was growing up with and was very close with. This dog would always sleep with her. And then the dog passed away, but she still felt like the presence was there. Like she would feel something on the bed with her. And I can't remember why I think the dog was there for a reason, to like scare something off or whatever. And then it finally wasn't there anymore. Like it stopped visiting her. And I feel like I got kind of emotional reading it because I was like, oh,
We're protecting her,
I know. That's so
even in the
sweet.
afterlife. Loyal companions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot,
There's so many. Yeah.
I greatly appreciate when people share their experiences, because it's not easy for people sometimes to talk about them.
Right.
One that stands out to me, we had this gentleman that sent in his story. He was kind of reluctant. He didn't want his name to be used, anything. He just wanted to share the story. And it was like when he was like 19, he was driving a big rig on this kind of back road. It was coming around a corner, and here was this little girl in the middle of the road, and he just didn't see her in time. He locked the brakes up. This is a big rig. He felt like I hit her. My God. He got out. No sign of this little girl. Nothing on the truck. And he's like, no, there's no way. I had to hit her. And he couldn't explain it. And he was telling people this story in town, his friends, things like that. And all he did was laugh at him and made fun of him, said he's crazy. And it's bothered him because he was having trouble sleeping. He was trying to make sense of this, and, even like trying to research, well, maybe it was paranormal, but he still was getting people laughing at him. So he shared the story with us. I said, yeah, man, no problem. Just no names. But thank you so much. It seems very personal to you. So I read it on there and we discussed it, talked about it. I think we even had some other listeners call it and said, hey, man, let that guy know. It's cool. His new family believes him and it's all right. So, and he did get back to me. He's like, dude, you don't know how you guys reading this story. This helped me a lot to get through it. Because now he had people that he knew wasn't going to make fun of him.
Right.
So that number one would be like, it would be hard to process if you think you hit a human being. And then come to the realization maybe it's paranormal and nobody will talk to you. So that story stood out because I'm like, oh man, sometimes I feel like we're a bunch of chuckleheads, but I guess we do. We're there sometimes when we need to be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a great thing about when we talk about para-unity and that kind of thing is, how we all can share with each other.
Are you hungry or is it a dog? No, it's okay. It happens all the time.
That story stood out. I'm glad, and that's
pretty cool.
Like we always like to say that we have fun with,
right?
But we don't make fun of.
No,
like I think there's I think it's okay to have fun and laugh and but still be treat the topic seriously.
Right.
So that's why I'm surprised when people reach out to us and like, oh, do we sound like two jokesters?
Have you ever had a show where someone shared a story and then like they didn't know what something was and then maybe someone answered back and gave you insight or an update on it?
I don't think we've.
Just with Rhonda.
Rhonda did some stuff.
Yeah, she would do some stuff when people would call in and they would present. I think one of the 2 times that they were on, there were some questions that came from Rhonda, and she was like, "Actually, this is this," and kind of explained it a little bit.
I'm laughing because my real name is Rhonda, and I do psychic medium work, and it's just funny to keep hearing y'all say that over and over again. It's funny.
Yeah, I was wondering if she was ever going to say anything about that.
Yeah, well, I don't tell a lot of people because the reason I go by Rosie is there's a good reason. Put it that way. There's a good reason for safety purposes, kind of. So, but like she follows up and like I guess affirms people's story and like why they had that experience or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
Well, and yeah, there's been times. I think there was a time when we were like, well, is that okay if she responds and she reaches out outside of the show and follow up? And I think she did it once or twice, and we had nothing but positive responses coming back. Like, thank you so much. She really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to have somebody to talk to,
right?
When you can't process, what you experience, because sometimes, like I said, even with the Hat Man, I don't really know, but people have had more traumatic paranormal experiences that having someone to share it with, probably just helps know you're not alone,
right?
But now I have another story that isn't quite as sad. That is probably one of my most favorite a listener ever sent. If you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just saying.
Oh, is it time? Is it time to go?
There's a comment too. No, that's okay. You can still say the story because I'm pretty sure that there's nobody coming on right after us. I don't think.
I'll make it quick though. But this one was super cool. This guy who was from England sent the story in that he was headed, first year of college or I guess university, and he was running late. He gets up into the hall where he thinks his class is. The hallway seems dark. He's like, man, I don't see a lot of people. And here comes this professor looking guy, closes the door, is coming out in the hall. He's like, oh, hey dude, where's this room? He's like, right here. But there's no class. He's like, what are you talking about? It's supposed to be right now. He's like, there's no class. And this person just walks away, ignores him. And the guy's like, what the heck? Anyway, he does eventually the next day get to class. Nobody knows who he's talking about. That's not the professor of this class. He's doing some research for projects, flipping open a book, and finds like a photo of professors from like 1962. And he's like, that's the guy. And I was like, yeah, almost like he stepped in for a brief moment, stepped through
the pudding skin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
I will ask you about
he was a professor from that campus though, like in the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
I will ask you about this real quick. What's this I'm seeing about on your latest episodes about the puppets, or what's going on?
So yeah, we have puppets that look like all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
That's
we're
awesome.
like we're reenacting funny clips from past episodes with the puppets. It's called Paranormal Puppets. That just stems from me being still a kid at heart. Growing up with like Muppets and things like that, always wanting to do something, have my own puppet show. So finally, at my age, I finally achieved it.
And you are working on another comic book?
Yeah. In fact, with any luck, it can be off to the printer next week.
Cool.
It's called Bigfoot Ridge. It's like a what if story. So again, like we say, we get letters from listeners all the time. This particular letter, I'm sure the person is wonderful, but I watch a lot of horror movies. So when a stranger invites me to a remote cabin in West Virginia, my brain starts to work. I start thinking about all these horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of came to like, well, what if we actually accepted an invite and went there to film, make a small documentary, and then it all goes the way of a B horror movie. So it's like a what if story. It still takes us. Nash in the comic book, he gets shot.
Something to look forward to.
So it's like
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like a horror movie, but I kind of set it in an alternate world where this would happen. Because obviously Nash is fine. Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
You healed nicely.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but I even worked in an underground base for Nash.
That's funny.
So everybody who hasn't, who's watching, who hasn't got the comic book yet, go get their other one, the first one. Read that one.
Or hasn't heard an episode. Where can they find all of your podcasts being broadcasted?
We're on every whatever your favorite podcast app is. We're on there. You can go to paranormalpunchers.com, and then you can find all the ways you can find us. You can find stuff about the comic book. You can find stuff about us.
Yeah.
The puppet videos.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see those.
Our social media links. Yeah, that's probably where you can find most of the information to subscribe or whatever they say.
Right, and you're on Facebook and all that jazz too. So and then you have a Patreon page and everything too, right? So
yep, sure do.
But yeah, everybody out there, make sure you go find them on all their social media platforms and follow them, listen, check them out. Start at episode 1, see how they grow. It's pretty cool.
There's
Or
probably an
start with the
episode for
latest
everyone.
episode and go backwards.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd do.
But yeah, I think that's looks like we reached our time and everything, guys. But
Awesome.
I know that looks like everybody loved watching you guys. We loved having y'all on. So
have a good night, everybody who's watching. Thank you for participating and asking questions.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having us on. This was a
Yeah, thank you very
welcome.
much.
Yeah.